Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily HUD. Let's get started, right?
Yes,
I'm Sierra.
Dom. Yeah. Or did we just forget our names? I think we just forgot who we are. You're Sierra, I'm Dom. This is the Daily HUD.
This is the Daily HUD.
For Tuesday, the 14th of May, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. We've got Overwatch Stars, CWL Pro League, LoL MSI, NBA 2K League, and the GSL Code S Season 2, right?
Yes, Season 2 is currently going on. Afterwards, we're going to be talking about E3, which is happening a little bit later, and today also marks the release for Rage 2 and A Plague Tale Innocence, and we'll be talking about Rage 2 a little bit later. So, to start things off, let's take a look at what's going on with the ESL Pro League and Counter-Strike, because that returns both later today in North America and Europe.
Right on. It's been nearly 3 weeks since we've seen the ESL Pro League, so here's a reminder for where things are going. In the Americas, 4 teams have already advanced to the finals with 2 more spots up for grabs amongst 8. That's right, 8 remaining teams.
Now, Energy Esports, Team Liquid, Luminosity, and Daytona Gaming from Latin America have all made it past the group stage to advance. The remaining 8 teams of those groups were split into 2 separate groups of 4, each with 1 spot left to get into the finals. In Group A, which is going to be playing later this evening, we're getting the newly rebranded Complexity Gaming, Isurus Gaming, MIBR, and Renegades. Next Tuesday, we'll see Cloud9, eUnited, Ghost Gaming, and Infinity Esports competing for their own group's final spots.
In Europe, the 4 teams to advance are Mouse Sports, FaZe Clan, G2 Esports, and Astralis. Of their remaining 8 teams in groups, they have 4 spots remaining, or 2 for each group, as opposed to the North America's 1 final spot per group. Today, we're looking at Group A with Aristocracy, Fnatic, Hellraisers, and Optic Gaming. Next Tuesday, we'll get Big, Heroic, Navi, and North. Looking at today's matches, we'll see Europe up first, starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which will feature Optic vs. Fnatic and Hellraisers vs. Atrocity. Then later in the afternoon, we'll get North America with Renegade vs. Complexity, and MIBR take the stage against Isurus Gaming.
Yes, we're going to be bringing you those results as they conclude, because again, it's been almost 5 weeks. I apologize for the typo in the script there. 5 weeks since the ESL Pro League, because we had IEM Sydney, we had Blast Pro Miami, and Blast Pro Madrid, so 2 whole seasons worth in between. But now it's time to look towards our next shooter. We did have the Overwatch playoffs this past weekend. They wrapped up. That means the competitive scene will be taking a brief break before Stage 3 returns later this summer. However, for those of you who are just looking to get your Overwatch fix, you gotta get something more. We're getting the Overwatch All Stars event starting tomorrow in the Blizzard Arena in Burbank, California. You can see both Pacific Lucio and Atlantic Mercy on your screens right now. These are the 2 event skins that you can get for a very limited time for this specific All-Stars.
Burbank, California. This event will feature a fun style event with only bragging rights on the line, but at least we can finally get a chance to answer some questions about who is a better shot outside of the context of a large-scale team game. The event features 2 unique skins, Atlantic Mercy and Pacific Lucio, and then we redeemed for 200 Overwatch League tokens, which can be earned by watching the Overwatch League stream on Twitch after your account has been linked, or purchase of cold, hard cash.
Yes, so of course those skins are limited. However, starting off the event is the All-Star Arcade, which is going to feature some very fun and unique maps. Map 1 is Sibling Rivalry
that's gonna
on
be my
Hanamura, in which both teams can only have 3 Genjis and 3 Hanzos, so the 2 brothers are going to be going at each other. Map 2 looks troll as heck, called Healers Never Die, featuring a 6v6 with only supports. Map 3 features a 6v6 with damage only, damage dealers. Now before Map 4 gets things a bit more Western with a 6v6 McCree only, because it is high noon. Now finally, the tiebreaker map is Thanks But No Tanks. With a 6v6, anything goes except for tanks on Blizzard World. All of these game modes, aside from Sibling Rivalry and Keeping the Peace, will have a 1 hero limit, so no stacking Zenyatas or anything wacky like that. still a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll also see the Talent Takedown, in which the Atlantic and Pacific Division coaches will draft a team of Overwatch League players, casters, and analysis for a 3-map set in which the players will help cast the match. Finally, to close things off, the All Stars event will feature a 1v1 headshot-only Widowmaker bracket in a good old-fashioned aim battle.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll be bringing you the results as they come in.
Yes, and again, that starts tomorrow, so we're all looking forward to that quite a bit because the Overwatch League, it's finally finished off with Stage 2. We finally concluded with playoffs, and now it's like, okay, all the hard stuff out of the way, let's have a fun time now with the Overwatch All Stars event, which it's only 2 days. It's not technically a weekend because it's Wednesday, Thursday, but you might as well be able to consider it a weekend because it was last time, so still looks like to be a good time.
Which map are you excited about, Dom?
I'm a big fan of McCree.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to the McCree, the
kinda.
66 McCree only, because you're just gonna hear it's hot whenever he gets shot, because he is a point and click shooter. He doesn't have a projectile travel time, so I hit scan. That's the name. He's hit scan. So if anybody peeks out and they need to take a little bit of time to react and get the headshots on the McCree, then somebody can turn and just pop him off real quick before he manages to get his ultimate off.
Okay.
But hey, there's still a whole bunch of cool stuff, and of course the Widowmaker aim battle event as well.
That
which
will
is
be very tactical.
That's very classic Quake Arena style, where it's just a 1v1 aim battle. You've got the whole map, best shot wins.
Cool.
Plain and easy.
I'm a sibling, so keep that rivalry going, you
Yeah,
know? My brother's way better than
Genji
me,
versus Hanzo, that looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so in Call of Duty news, the CWL Pro League returned last night, finally seeing Week 7's return after a month-long hiatus.
Last night, the games actually opened up with a strong performance from FaZe Clan, going 3-0 against UYU. And they set a strong tone for the return of the CWL overall. It has been a few weeks since we've seen the CWL. After that, Team Optic Gaming challenged and defeated Gen G.
In a 3-2 set to even things up after the first game's stomp. Today, the matches resume with Evil Geniuses versus UYU, Gen G versus Midnight, Reciprocity versus Optic Gaming, Luminosity versus FaZe Clan, and we will also be bringing you those updates as the games reach their conclusion.
And the CWL, it's been a while since we've seen it. Again, nearly 5 weeks since they've taken their break, so it's good to see that they're finally getting back on the ball.
Dust off those cobwebs.
Exactly. Hopefully the players have still been practicing during this time, as they're having a couple of fun events in the meanwhile.
And naps.
Yes,
I hope they had some naps
presumably
too.
Naps.
Yeah, naps are good.
We're starting to see more of these like seasonal breaks in between leagues more often. We were just talking about Overwatch taking a break between Stage 2 and Stage 3, and CWL is doing the exact same thing in separating weeks 1 through 6 between week 7 by taking a 5-week hiatus.
It's sort of like the same idea with crunch time. Like we're trying to just kind of ease up on these people. They're working very hard.
Spread the workload around.
Exactly. Spread it around
there absolutely is a burnout factor that different teams need to try their best to avoid because it can be tough playing so consistently for so long.
Right.
Especially in a league like League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. So while all these shooters have had a nice tame Monday, our League of Legends, the mid-season invitational, has been raging onward, inching ever closer to those playoffs. I'm excited.
Yeah, and now as of the time of this filming, the group stage is wrapping up its final few games, and despite a few point differences here and there, we already know who is going where in terms of those standings. Despite the remaining matches of Flash Wolves versus Buffalo and SKT versus Invictus Gaming, IG have already locked in first place in the standings at a whopping 9-0 scoreline, going undefeated amongst everyone so far, although SKT does have one final chance to put a dent in that world champion armor.
In second, SKT has managed to stabilize their struggles from earlier on and risen to 6-3, securing themselves second place on the opposing side of the bracket, away from Invictus Gaming. In third, G2 Esports went a clean 5-5, splitting the middle of the standings to similarly dodge Invictus Gaming. And finally, in 4th place, Team Liquid have taken home a respectable 4-6, successfully advancing out of the group stages and into those playoff brackets.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about yesterday with expectations for Team Liquid, the North American team at internationals. Congratulations, boys.
You made it.
You've done it. You made it out of groups. Well, your opponents are going to be Invictus Gaming.
Yeah,
the undefeated team that has already beat you twice, that looks nigh unstoppable.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to temper those expectations for an upset for the next round, because
I appreciate that they're grateful to be there and they can learn a lot from this match with Invictus Gaming.
And,
They'll
and
learn a
certainly
lot.
That's the hope for the North American team of Team Liquid, to be able to take this experience and roll it forward towards Worlds, where they can hope to maybe challenge Invictus Gaming in 6 months in October when we get to the World Finals. Assuming Team Liquid makes it to the World Finals, at Worlds in general. But this is always the same problem with North America. They always try so hard to really bring stable competition to their opponents, but they just can never succeed on the international stage. We haven't made it past like 2013 was semifinals for Cloud9.
Could that be a little bit of a burnout, factor happening? They've made it so far through all these competitions, getting to the top. Now they're on the international stage and they're burnt out.
It's certainly possible. A lot of the conversation that I've heard has stemmed more in the fact that the North American teams don't get the chance to scrim against the Korean and the Chinese teams,
right? So they don't
because they are international.
Right.
So the largest environment that the North American teams have to play with on a stable connection is in North America. We're largely isolated on this continent. We can play with Canada, we can play Latin America, we can play South America. Those teams aren't great.
Yeah.
Whereas Korea stereotypically has been the best region in the world. China has risen up to challenge them, and those two can scrim together all the time because they're practically neighbors.
Right.
So they continue to get better next to each other, while North America is over here like, boy, sure do wish we could practice against somebody good.
Yeah, maybe they should set up a home over there in China and just play it out. That would be a good practice run, and maybe for less of a burnout, and get people, a little bit calmer, enter the stage, learn what you can, and
We've absolutely seen that before with other teams. I think, oh goodness, I'm not going to try any names. I think it was old style Team Liquid that tried that exact same thing.
Oh, they did? Okay.
But it wasn't quite successful. But hey, there's still a lot going on. After the group stages matches, MSI will be taking a break after these group stages conclude, as this video is being filmed, and those matches will return with the playoffs on Friday and Saturday. 2 semifinals and the finals themselves concluding on Sunday morning at 3 a.m. Eastern.
I love Sundays.
So yeah, you can either choose to stay up. If you're Pacific time, it's a little easier because that's midnight for you.
Yeah.
But right now we're looking at what's probably going to be the SKT Invictus Gaming final, which
I like 4 a.m.
Everybody's real excited for. 3 a.m. is when it starts. Yeah.
Moving on to NBA 2K League news, we're back to the regular season play after last week's Turn tournament in Viva Las Vegas. Love it. Week 5 of the regular season will return tomorrow with 5 games to state our craving for the NBA action.
Yes, now looking at those matches, we're going to see the Pistons versus Magic Gaming. Kingsguard will challenge the Pacers. Heat Check will look to take on the Cavs Legion. The T-Wolves will challenge the Pistons, and once again, the Pacers will return against Heat Check. Now, in those games, there are a couple of teams that you should be keeping an eye on over the course of the matches. We've got our double-ups in the Pistons, the Pacers, and the Heat Checks. Those are the 3 teams that are playing twice on tomorrow. Pistons are currently at 1-4 and need to start looking for some wins to advance further into the bracket. They have to start trying to take some wins if they want to compete. After that, you've got the Heat Check.
Heat Check are even right now at 3-3 and find themselves in the middle of the standings as a result. So anything at least or greater than 1-1 will push them on.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope for the team because they are middle ground. You want at least a middle ground to advance, a 1-1 or best case a 2-0. But the challenge for them is the Pacers are still going on. They're another team that's playing 2-0. They're undefeated. They're at 4-0 right now. Technically, they're at first place in the league, despite the fact that the Mavs are at 7-0, because I believe the Pacers have got the win rate bonus.
Right.
But for anybody to challenge the Pacers is a little unexpected.
How long will their reign continue?
We don't know.
Pacers?
Tomorrow's a chance to try and bring them down. So we'll certainly see.
All right, so in our final esports news, the GSL Code S Season 2 group stage has concluded.
Yes.
Phew,
Yeah.
we made
Well,
it
at
through
least
that.
the first group stage, we should
because
say.
we have Season 2 coming up.
Well, the second
now.
round, yeah. So we went from the round of 32 down to the round of 16. These matches have quietly been progressing out of Korea to a little fanfare, and the regular season has made steady headway towards the ultimate bracket format. Group G reached its conclusion with Dark and Parting advancing onto their next stage. Group H was played this past weekend, seeing Ragnarok and Special advance. And Special stands out not only because his name is special and that makes him special, but he's also the only non-Korean foreigner at the event right now. He's a player from Mexico amidst all of these other StarCraft 2 professionals. So with the round of 32 group stage concluded, the top 16 teams have seeded into that second round of the group stage, as we mentioned, that round of 16. And group selections for those remaining 16 players are taking place tomorrow evening. So there's still a whole bunch of games yet to be played for that GSL Code S.
Great,
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah, so now finally we're going to look towards our non-esports coverage.
Right.
Because we've still got a little bit of news going on. Today is release day for a handful of games, and one of which I'm very excited about. We've got Rage 2 coming out today alongside A Plague Tale: Innocence, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit more tomorrow. But Rage 2, it's getting pretty positive reviews. A lot of people are very excited for it. Yeah, we've got it on the screen behind us. This is super cool because this is id and a studio called Avalanche Studios working together to create a super fun, over-the-top, explosive style game. This is a game that's based off of what was originally the Borderlands, like Western, post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Shoot 'em up.
Exactly, but with stereotypical gamer humor. So Borderlands had the incredibly over-the-top explosions and gore and viscera and super crass, crude jokes, which was hilarious and exceptionally popular. And then Rage 2 was an attempt to Rage 1 was an attempt from id Software to demonstrate their new engine and capitalize on that same sort of world. And Rage 2 cranks that up to 11 by turning onto more of this crass humor, sort of echoing Borderlands 3. Which looks to be quite exciting. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the shoot 'em up games. I kind of like the one-on-one fighters.
They take a little bit of time to learn and get used to.
Yeah.
The thing that really stands out for this is the people who are making the game. id Software and Avalanche Studios are working together. So id Software made the first one, very, very popular. It introduced a new game engine and taught us a whole bunch of really cool things about the world. But the fact that they partnered up with and co-developed with Avalanche Studios, who are best known for the Just Cause franchise, which has been insanely popular and insanely successful, means that hopefully Rage 2 takes the core idea of id Software, the people who made Doom 2016, which was also incredibly popular, and sees Rage 2 explode in popularity. That's what we're hoping.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So again, you take two premier developers and you get them side by side to partner together and you make Rage 2, hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
There has been a little bit of controversy about the game sort of floating around just by the nature of most of the villains are mutants. And the way that they portray those mutants is with a cleft lip and nose, which is a real genetic birth defect.
Right.
And there
That's
has been a couple of
nice.
insensitivity claims.
Yeah.
But when you look at the source material that this game is inspired from, which is the Borderlands franchise, you can't really point a whole lot of fingers because Borderlands, in a subtle way, they did it worse.
Right.
By
but
going
they
significantly
could maybe
over the
make
top.
up for it. Give a donation to Smile Train.
Yeah, they absolutely could.
And make it change.
That's
I
certainly
mean,
possible.
it's fine.
There
but
are ways to sort of deal with this sort of thing.
we don't want to
So,
further
again,
make a stigma for people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But that's kind of the concern and question with bringing in stereotypes to portray enemy types in that way.
Yeah.
At some form, a lot of our influences going into games, at least in Western culture, are inspired from
Real life.
unhealthy stereotypes in the past. So it is still a learning experience for the studio, and the game is being positively reviewed so far. But if you're a fan of shooters, definitely give it a check out. At the very least, go watch the trailer. And if that's the sort of thing that appeals to you, you want to see id Software and Avalanche Studios' crazy shooter post-apocalyptic baby that's inspired by Borderlands, give it a check out. Yeah. Yes, so now we've still got our final coverage for the day. We're talking about E3, which is happening in June. There have been a whole lot of conversations going on right now. Variety.com did an article discussing a whole bunch of issues that might be going on in the E3 organization, ESA, saying that E3, the largest video game expo and premier video game event in the world, is being scaled down. They've lost a couple of key executives. They're running into some trouble forming the event. They're trying to set up additional streams for viewers outside of the event, but they're not seeing a lot of success, so people are starting to get worried.
This is E3 on June 11th in Los Angeles, which is typically a really large gathering of people to be able to release new games, but I think that what they've discovered is you don't need to have a arena-style expo for your new games. You can reach more people, perhaps, doing a live stream.
We've seen the exact same thing with Sony and Nintendo doing their own direct connects, direct plays. The State of Play from Sony and Nintendo Directs have been doing it forever.
And they dropped from E3. So there's not going to be Sony or Nintendo at E3.
Which means Microsoft gets the chance to run away with the event. Perhaps, who knows?
Well, we will see Netflix, right?
Yes.
Netflix is going to make a debut, which is pretty exciting. They want to take their Netflix original series and create games out of them.
Effectively, So Bandersnatch was the first example of this with a choose-your-own-adventure movie, which you haven't seen yet, so we're not going to spoil
Don't
it.
Spoil.
We'll watch it and get you updated because it is so compelling. It's a choose-your-own-adventure film with multiple endings and a sort of meta context that loops in on itself in a very, very interesting and weird way, but that sort of opens the door of like, I used to read...
the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah, the Choose Your Own Adventures. What were they? The Are You Afraid of the Dark
Maybe.
ones?
Was that it?
Or was it
No,
Goosebumps?
that wasn't it. No, it wasn't
Did a
Goosebumps
couple
either.
of
But
those
I
as
remember,
well.
I read that.
Where flip to page
and you go
63,
to
you die.
And,
Shoot. Start back at page 1 and you're like, nope, I'm going back to page 14 where I make the other choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can do that exact same thing with Bandersnatch. So Netflix is even getting involved in E3 in this exact same way by saying, hey, there's an interactive space that can be utilized to allow for more unique and compelling content.
Yes. What Netflix original series games would you like to see?
Ooh, that's real tough.
Of course they're doing the kids superhero one. I'm going to be in trouble for not knowing the name.
Flash?
No, it's their own original series and you don't recall.
I don't know. I'm doing everything I can to keep up with Netflix, but there's just so much content.
No.
We're hearing from our producers, it's Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
No, it's not that one.
Okay,
but anyways, sorry. I kind of want to see Orange is the New Black video game.
Choose your own adventure.
You
go to jail.
Russian
You're
Doll.
already in jail.
Russian Doll. I would love to see that as a choose your own because that is a little video game.
Have you seen Black Mirror at all?
Oh yeah, of course. Wasn't that Brandistown from Black Mirror? I thought that was
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
It is. So if we could see more Black Mirror sort of these weird reflections on reality storytelling splitting away, that would be great. I mean, Bear Grylls was the first one to pioneer the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're saying, well, do I drink my own piss or do I drink from the river? And everyone's going to be like, drink the piss, Bear. Drink from the jar instead of the river. Eat the bear poop.
You can
Mr.
do
Grills.
That's great.
I wonder if people call him Mr. Grills.
Mr. Grills. I would call him Bear.
If his attendant, his assistant whenever he's on set. Here's your coffee, Mr. Grills. Anyways, that's a whole bunch of stuff for us.
And we digress.
Yes.
I wish I was going to be in LA for this E3 release. That would be very fun.
That would be super cool if we could actually be at E3
that would be fun.
and see the event live.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different this year. I think that's what we're trying to get back to is that no longer there's a chance that we're no longer going to have these massive presentations, or at the very least, they're going to start getting scaled down. So what that means for us, the viewers of E3, the regular common folk, is that when we look for our announcements, you go to news channels and you watch YouTube and sort of breakdowns and analysis. of the event as a whole instead of going straight to E3.
Right, and it was
for these
really
sorts of
nice. I
releases.
loved that Sony release. That was fun. That was
Yeah,
a fun
the State of
video.
Play.
I didn't know what to expect.
They're
and
looking to
I'm
do the same
excited for
thing,
all of that.
which is really interesting. And this is a massive player in the game taking a huge step backward from the way that they're releasing content. So maybe we're going to get some more unique things like that in the future. But again,
That's all for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
watching.
you so much for watching. This has been the Daily HUD.
Yes.
Have a good night. GG.